Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, HaRakah, Quadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and shalom to the hopeful elect. This is Payal of the GMS London camp, and this is news and prophecy and news. I have an article here from the mirror.co.uk, and it reads, Tier 4 could last for 4 months as Boris Johnson told to apologize to Britain. Alright? So right now, as of yesterday, we had an announcement. Well, as of midnight of today, now we've been entered into this new tier 4. Alright, it came out of nowhere because there was 3 tiers before, and now we have a tier 4. Alright, which is only on predominantly London and the southwest region of England. Alright. And now they said it was from the 20th to the 30th, but now they're saying it could be for a few months, all right? And the reason why is because the new variant that's came out. They're saying that it's got everyone running scared, closing their borders, so they're gonna have to make it a longer term whereby we hang in this tier, all right? And I wouldn't even be surprised if they pull out, another tier from out of from out of their sleeve, basically, as to where there's great restrictions in place. So anyway, I'm gonna read. So it says Labour has slammed the Prime Minister for not bringing about in tight curbs sooner, amid fears for the welfare of the old and vulnerable left alone at Christmas, and warning the Tier 4 crackdown could be in place for months. All right. So it says millions of people could be living under tough Tier 4 restrictions for months amid fears the new CV variant is soaring out of control. Public health chiefs warned that the mutation has already spread to every part of the country, from London and the southeast where cases are highest. All right. So it says France announced it would join Germany, Italy, Belgium, and the Netherlands in temporarily closing its borders with the UK amid fears of the new variant. This means all freight from France by air, road, sea, and rail will be stopped for 48 hours, all right? Which could lead to supply chains under intense pressure on the run-up to Christmas Day, all right? So as you can see, basically, through them locking down for 48 hours, that's gonna have a heavy strain on the supply chains, all right, within the UK, basically, all right. So that's a famine. All right, famine of bread and all those things. And remember, a lot of these companies and whatnot have not put in place contingents for Brexit. All right, so we got a recipe for disaster over here, especially if this is going to be in place for 4 months. All right. Who's to know what can happen with this new variant out on the loose, and how much of a strain it can put on the people as far as not being able to have food and all these kind of things. All right. So it says the latest official data showed another 35,928 cases today, the highest daily figure to date, and almost double the number last Sunday. So this is the highest number of cases we've ever had. All right. And it's has come today, all right? And it makes sense because really when this really kicked off in March, that was after this whole real, traditional flu season when everyone gets ill, right? So expect to see the numbers, fluctuate and go out of control, right? And with that happening, that means that there's going to be a lot more restrictions put in place in terms of your movement, all right? And them coming down heavier with the gavel, basically. All right. So it says most of the new cases were concentrated in the southeast, although public health chiefs said it was too early to say if they were linked to the new variant. All right. But Public Health England's medical director, Dr. Yvonne Doyle, warned the sharp sudden increase is of serious concern. Another 328 people died from the disease today, while the NHS is now treating almost as many CV patients as it was at the peak of the first wave in April. All right. So it's getting worse again. The new variant is thought to be 70% more infectious, and small numbers of cases have been found across the North, Midlands, and Wales. Yeah, and definitely it's going to be more, all right, because you just had um, a great scramble made by everyone before midnight of today, all right, to basically get out of London to avoid the tier 4 lockdown. But guess what? Guess what? The reality is, all right, the reality is it's gonna go to every other place of the UK. All right, you've taken it with you. All right, which I believe. All right, in my opinion, millions of families have had their Christmas plans plunged into disarray after the government belated um, belatedly tried to get the dis-ease back under control. Boris Johnson announced on Saturday that almost 80 million people would go into immediate lockdown while Christmas festivities will be cut just one day before everybody else. All right. Ministers announced extra police will be deployed to stop people traveling out of tier 4 areas for Christmas. All right. Now, what you gotta think about is this is allowing for more of a police state to be put in place. All right, because now with the seriousness, quote unquote seriousness of CV, the new variant on the loose, it means that they have to put people in place, authorities in place, to basically make sure that all these laws they're passing are being brought to effect. Crowded scenes at London stations before the restrictions came in continued on Sunday with queues at St Pancras. Alright, high streets across the southeast stood empty while supermarkets faced a deluge of customers adapting to changed Christmas plans. Labour leader Keir Starmer said the PM should apologise for gross negligence after failing earlier to curb the spread of the CV. All right. So it says he said alarm bells have been ringing for weeks, but the Tory leader, who said last week that it would be inhumane to cancel Christmas, has repeatedly failed to act. And I believe personally that's all the act, man, to make it seem like we don't want to do it, but we have to, man. Just so really what they're doing is they're establishing, the new normal. All right, all the things that they want to do, they putting it in place. It is an act of gross negligence by a prime minister who once again has been caught behind the curve. He said, at the heart of the problem here is a prime minister who simply doesn't want to be unpopular and therefore won't take the tough decisions that are necessary until he is forced into them at the 11th hour. All right, and that really shows you that they're gonna have to make some tough decisions, and there's gonna come a time where draconian rulership is gonna basically be established for the sake of dealing with all of this, the issues that are being dealt with by the public. All right, we can't go on like that. I think that it's very important that the prime minister does apologize to people for his handling of this episode of the pandemic. A new YouGov poll showed the public overwhelmingly supports the new Tier 4 by 74% to 17%. Raw. So it shows you people in the public are really really on it, all right? And Christmas restrictions by 67 to 25%. But the vast majority, 61% to 33%, believe the government has handled the changes badly. All right, so it shows you there. This is what's going on the motorways. All right, stay at home Tier 4. Health Secretary Matt Hancock admitted the speed of the changes had left people feeling cross, frustrated, and in many cases angry. But he claimed that ministers had a duty to act when they were presented with the scientific evidence. The new variant is out of control, and we need to bring it under control, said. We don't know how long these measures are going to be in place. It may be some time until we get the vaccine guy. All right. So basically, they're saying that as long as these measures are in place, um, the only way of getting out of it is by taking a vaccine. All right, and that shows you the comparison picture. So this is another point I'm speaking on now. Comparison picture showing Regent Street deserted after opening time today, Sunday top, and the same scene yesterday, Saturday. Yeah, everyone was out the past couple of days of the week from the last weekend. I remember I see a lot of people out in the city, right? Because I'm around those areas and whatnot, and there was a lot more people out than usual, all right? But then now it's gone back to how I remember it, deserted basically, because everyone rushed, staying at home, rushed back to where they're really from, all right? And also, that's really, and no one's working no more like that, all right? Yet Mr. Hancock claimed that it was not inevitable that there would be a third national lockdown after Christmas. All right, government advisor Dr. Michael Tildes Tildesley, right, who sits on a scientific pandemic influenza group on modeling, warned the tough restrictions would continue until February. I think, given the situation we're in at the moment, I would be looking at potentially well into February. We're going to have some level of severe restrictions, he said. And that's why they established the furlough scheme, first off, going back to September, October times, till March. They extended it, but also now they've gone and extended it to April, even further. All right? So it says, but doctors, leaders went further, warning it could be April before enough people had been vaccinated for anything like normal life to resume, right? The new normal, right, is what they mean. Just 500,000 people will have been vaccinated by the end of the weekend, although the NHS is working at full pelt to roll it out, all right? And really, remember they said they got a new variant, so this vaccine might, everyone might receive it, and then they find out it's a dud. They don't work against the new variant, and then they got to go back to the lab and basically make a new one, right? Chand Nagpal, chair of the British Medical Association, suggested it would take even longer to vaccinate enough of the population to lift restrictions. We're working flat out. We have been working 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., he said. It will take, unfortunately, 3 to 4 months for enough of the population to be vaccinated. All right? The government, and there you go, same thing again, that's the other side of Regent Street. All right? Shows you. The government was also dealing with the fury on its own backbenchers who accused it of waiting to pull the plug on Christmas until after Parliament had broken up. Sir Charles Walker, the vice chairman of Tory backbench 1922 committee, said he had believed ministers knew before Friday they would be bringing in tough new controls. The government, in my view, knew on Thursday, possibly even Wednesday, that they were going to pull the plug on Christmas, but they waited till Parliament had gone, he said. That, on top of everything else, is a resigning matter. I am not asking for the government to collapse. I am asking for the Secretary of State to take some responsibility. All right. So the point being is that they're going into we're in a lockdown again, man. All right, and they're saying that it could last 3 to 4 months. All right, and this is all the gradualism that all the brothers starting with the apostles have been talking about, man. They're gradually chipping away at the people, wearing down their resistance to the will of the government. All right, and basically it's either gonna chip them away into subjection or to make them rebel. But then, as and when the people exposed as to what their character will be through these things, then they'll deal with them accordingly. All right. If you basically, get, chipped away, if they keep doing this and they gradually weigh you down as to where you'll submit and do whatever, then you get to enjoy the fruits of this Babylon the Great. All right. The beast system in its fullness is what the plan is to do. All right. But then if but then the other thing is, if you resist, then they go internment camps, all right? And then they're gonna deal with you accordingly, all right? Whether it be behead you or torture or whatever manner of thing they're gonna do. Basically, that's how it's gonna work, man. All right, either or. And then that's the goal right now. That's the agenda they're setting forth. So let me just see if there's anything else here. So you can see there the people that are in Tier 1, those on the coast, those over there in Wales as well, the yellow bits, and I don't know what island that is off the coast right there as well. They're in Tier 1. But then most of the countries actually in Tier 2, funnily enough. And then Tier 3, most of up north. And I believe that's like Middlesbrough, Newcastle on the other side as well, beyond the Midlands. But in Tier 4 is the southeast. We're going through it right now, right? We're entering into that time, man. All right. So with that, you know the scriptures, man. Same scriptures. Time of Jacob's trouble, all right? Temptation and all of that. I pray you edified. For the next one, I say shalom.